Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, with a special guest this Monday morning. And we are going to go through something that is amazing, powerful. And yes, it is included in my course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time. We are going to look at the binder strategy, how you get tenants to ask for rent increases. And to do that, we welcome Dion from Dion Talk. How you doing, buddy?
Howdy, doing great. Ready for round two.
So the first thing I just want people to realize is when we talk about the binder strategy, you actually mean a binder strategy. I think when people hear it, they're like, he doesn't really mean a binder. No. He means a binder. And he puts together his collection of material, which we will review. And then he takes it and he has a conversation. So why don't you lay out kind of the framework of the binder strategy? This, again, is all in the course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time. Go ahead.
So I call this the binder strategy, but it doesn't always in a binder. I've used email. I use email when I work with the Section 8 program, Housing Authority, because it's worked with them too. And I've used email when I was in another country. I wasn't going to fly home to show a binder to somebody. But recently I did this binder, and I'm going to cover the address. But the front page of the binder is an image of the property with what I paid for it and what its current Redfin or Zillow estimate is, because that's important for the conversation. Okay. The idea is most tenants aren't looking for properties or places to rent always, and they might not know what current rents are. Okay. So when you buy a property, it came from when I originally was buying properties. This binder strategy that we're going to talk about, I did almost a month ago with tenants that I've had for a while. Okay. So it was existing tenants, the goal was buy properties that have tenants in place, because I'm lazy. I don't want to do a rehab or find a new tenant. I want tenants already there. So less competition, because a lot of investors want that empty property. Right. So I have less competition for my properties. So I take the risk of maybe inheriting a bad tenant. Hasn't happened yet, but it's a risk that could happen.
For sure. But
they're usually below area average rents because previous owners have stopped paying attention. They haven't done increases. They haven't done rehabs. They haven't done any upgrades, which I don't do either. Mm-hmm. So the current tenants are getting a great deal. Mm-hmm. Once I own the property, I wait a couple of months. I don't want to do it right away because I want to find out if I want to keep these tenants. I want to make sure they pay on time. They don't call me for super trivial things. I don't get noise complaints, like some of the basics, because I didn't get to screen and place these tenants. That's my screening period. Mm-hmm. At about the 2-month mark, I'll have the binder strategy, where the front page will be the property, and this is physically on the outside of the binder. So it would be the top of the email. The next page is from apartments.com or Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, or something that shows a map of the rentals in your area. Mm-hmm. Each page after that are the rents in the area for the units that you're doing. I found one property that was at $1,575. $1,575, they go all the way up to $1,690, $1,800, $2,000. They get more expensive the further in that you go. Okay. This is a 2-bedroom unit. Tenants were at $1,375.
Ooh, okay.
The low end that I found that were $1,575 in that area are low income housing. Mm-hmm. I show the tenants, if you qualify for low income housing, here's what's available. Mm-hmm. The more expensive ones towards the back that were $1,800 and $2,000 are the area average rents for units in that area. Okay. I give the binder to the tenants who've been in place for a few years. They're at $1,375. And I ask them, what do you think would be fair? I've never had a tenant say, well, the area average for not low income housing seems to be $1,800 to $2,000. So I want to go to $1,800, right? They're not going to ask to go to what they would pay somewhere else. But I'm educating the tenant saying, here's what the area average rents are if you move, if we don't renew. Mm-hmm. I don't have to do a rehab. I'm not doing any upgrades. I take care of the place while they're in it. So anything that's broke has already been fixed. Right. I think this place, since I've owned it, has had one HVAC problem for like $600, which is always the bill when you have an HVAC problem. It's $600. It's like a magic number for them. Yeah. So the tenant came back with $1,710 was the number that they said. It matched their budget. It was a $335 increase. Wow. And I don't have to do a rehab.
That's 20%. They asked for a 20% rent increase.
and were happy
And happy. Yeah.
when I acquiesced. When I said, if you would like to pay me $335 more a month, I will accept that. I don't have to do a tenant turn. They don't have to find a place to move. They don't have to do first, last security. They don't have to do any of that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I don't have to do flooring and paint or any upgrades to the
It's,
property.
it's definitely win-win, right? Yeah.
Correct. So now the tenant knows, and some of the things that I can point out is, so I paid $525 for this triplex
Mhm.
when I got it. The current Redfin estimate is $706,000.
Mhm.
So I'm able to say things like, the value of the property has gone up, which means my taxes are impacted. My insurance to do a replacement has been impacted. So, so now the tenant actually understands, oh, there is an increase that will impact your expenses. So this increase makes sense to you.
Mhm.
On top of, the tenant knows logically I could kick them out, do a rehab and get $2,000 a month for the unit.
Absolutely. Yep.
So it makes more sense for me to do that, which would take time, energy, effort, money.
Yeah.
I work full-time. I run a nonprofit, 30 hours a week or so on YouTube, self-manage my 16 units. I'm not looking for that kind of work.
Right.
So this is a current in 2022 binder strategy that was a 20% increase at tenant's request.
So let's break down the binder strategy, because again, this is all in the course, and it's probably one of the more valuable things in my course. And again, thank you for adding it, because I didn't do any of these, right? I have property manager. So again, roughly speaking, are we talking 4 or 5 hours of prep, right? Getting the comps and putting the binder together, or
Nope,
what are we
nope,
talking?
nope, nope. Thank you for thinking on that proactive. This was a total, maybe 15 minutes.
Okay.
You go to apartments.com or Redfin. I print out the first page from Redfin. I do one search for apartments, and then I print out maybe 5 or 6 pages, just literally what the tenant is going to find when they do the same search. So 15 minutes worth of work.
Okay. So let's say it's your first time, it's a half hour. So not a lot.
No.
Then you arrange, let's just pretend it's face-to-face. And again, it could be email or whatever. You go there, they're nervous, probably. They don't know. You're the landlord. You're the big, scary landlord. But you're just having a conversation. This is what I'm finding, right? You're at 1350, area average is 18. So you have that discussion. I'm guessing you leave the binder with them and then you come back and follow up, or do you have them make a decision that first meeting?
So far, it's happened during the meeting.
Oh, wow.
I do give the option of, I can leave this with you and we could talk another day. But so there's a couple of other things. One, I like long leases. I always want at least a year lease. I for lending purposes, lenders want at least 3 months remaining on a lease to count future rents of the property I'm looking at. It's the way my lenders work anyways. So I want at least a year lease. I prefer 2-year leases. So during the binder strategy, I tell the tenants, if you wanted to, we could protect your rent so that I can't do this again next year, or that it can't go up next year. We could do a 2-year lease. And I don't say I want to do a 2-year lease or we should do a 2-year lease. I just say that. And then almost every time, one time it didn't happen, but almost every time they say, well, can we do a 2-year lease? I have one tenant who was looking to buy a house. So I instantly turn that into, let me help you.
Yeah.
I know an agent, I know a lender. I'll show you how this works. Try to talk him into a duplex instead of a house. Get him on that ladder, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. So, okay, a little bit of work, conversation. You're willing to come back because, again, some people are going to want to, I don't know, verify or whatever, kind of talk internally. But most of the time they just say, hey, would you take, they're probably pretty cautious, right? I guess cautious. Hey, would you take 1710 or whatever the number was? 1710 is an odd number. I mean, where how did they get to like 1700? I get 17 a quarter. 1710 kind of seems odd.
I think the lady sat back, figured the average on the last ones that weren't low income, literally found the average and did like a 60% or a 50%. So it was an increase to what the median was, not even the average.
That makes sense.
Now, this is the thing. My tenants sometimes watch my videos. They were at $1,375. A rent increase to $1,500. That's $125 a month. That's a decent increase.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't want to stay at the 1710. It made sense for the tenant to ask for an increase 3 times, almost 3 times what I would have been okay with.
Yeah. This is the power of the binder strategy. This is the power of knowing your market, buy box, being active. This is something you could train your property manager to do if you wanted. Obviously, you need to know local housing. In California, this wouldn't work, at least in units because of rent control. But again, know your market. Know your market.
Does the rent control in California impact single family houses?
I believe it does not. Again, check your, because I think there's some counties that got impacted by the fires where it does now impact singles. But as it was written in 2020, I think is when it came out, it was not singles, only units.
Yeah, I have a friend who invests in Oregon and he house hacked a duplex. And because he was owner occupying,
Correct.
the other unit was not impacted by rent control.
Same in California. If you are the owner and live in one of the units, it's treated as a house. You're basically allowed one unit.
That's where it really pays to know the local laws.
Exactly. Well, folks, again, if you want to get started with how to get started one rental at a time, it's there. It's how we built our portfolio. And now we have excellent bonus material like the binder strategy, like 4321. Just amazing stuff in there. Go get it. Link below. Dion, how can people find you?
Right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom.
Awesome. Nice work.